I'm feeling completely overwhelmed. Mostly confused right now is at the top. And that's because 5 minutes ago, I was sure I was going to be fired from my first job as a speech and language pathologist. My boss had the notion in his head that speech and language pathologists, even baby ones like me, right out of college, literally walked on water. And so when I kicked his lead psychologist, he just let it go. He didn't fire me. So now I have to work. And I have more anxiety coming up, a bigger worry. And that is, in just a few minutes, this kid, Dennis, who I have not been able to get to make a single sound. Not a word. And I have worked with him every day for months. Really. You could do that in 1979. Every day. And I hear, the buzzer from the intercom letting me know that the kids are here. So I put on my, I know what I'm doing, I'm an adult, I'm a happy speech therapist face. And I open the door and they come in and we start to play Simon Says. Simon Says, put your lips together. Say, Simon Says, rub your tummy. Simon Says, put your lips together, say, and rub your tummy, because I have chocolate cookies for you guys today. And I have 3 preschoolers running around the room, rubbing their tummies and And I have Dennis, who has his lips clamped together, and there's no sound coming out, because what's ever there, he's holding it back. And I look at him and I go, And he looks at me and he goes, he's not giving it up for a chocolate cookie, not this kid. The next day he comes in for a session by himself and I am like freaking out. It's like he may never talk. He's my responsibility. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't feel like I walk on water like my boss thinks. I'm drowning. I'm really drowning. And I see the taillights of the taxi cab dropping him off. And I just jump up. I grab my coat. I grab my keys. I'm out the door. Reception, I'm like, it's 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm taking an early lunch. I'm in the parking lot. I'm picking Dennis up. I'm putting him into my car and I'm driving away to the horse stables a few minutes away. We walk around. We have a blissful 30 minutes out of the damning playroom where we are feeding horses apples and carrots. And it's time to go because it's just like 30 minutes. I got to get him back in the cab or I'll be in worse trouble than kicking the psychologist. I will have kidnapped a child. And so I'm like, Dennis, we need to go, sweetie. And he turns from the mother horse and foal he's been watching. And I hear, aye, horsey. Aye, horsey. Bye, horsey. We get in the car, we drive back to the clinic, and I let him know that when he comes tomorrow, I have new Sesame Street books, because he loves Sesame Street. And he comes the next day, he climbs in my lap, very excited. I'm like, yeah, and wasn't yesterday at the stables great? The horses heard you, I heard you. Who's this? And I point to the front of the Sesame Street book. He shrugs his shoulders and he says, oh, that's Ernie. And then he opens the book and he goes, and that's Big Bird. And he goes through the whole book and that's it. Dennis is talking. And then we have months and months and months of having to learn really hard sounds that we meld together into words that hopefully blossom into messages that he wants to be able to tell people. he's doing great. And I don't feel like I'm drowning anymore, maybe unless like doggy paddling, kind of like treading water. It feels kind of good, aerobic. But he's grown a lot. And so he's, ready to go on. And he's going on to kindergarten where he'll have a new speech therapist. And I'm telling him that. And I see his mouth get really tight again, like before when he would not for me. And then he turns around and he looks at me and he bursts out with, "Ah-oh, ah-oh, ah-oh." And my speech and language pathology brain is like exploding with like, it's gestural language, it's wrong, it doesn't go with that word, or did you mix the word, it's the wrong finger. Asshole has an H in it, and you know that sound, where was it? And then, social use of language, it just went on, and then all of a sudden it just drops away, because I do know something now. I know that his message was truthful and succinct, and that he will miss me, and that being an asshole has never been so good.